On the morning of July 23rd, a chilling discovery inside a quiet home in South Korea shocked an entire village. What seemed like a normal day turned into a horrifying crime scene when a man found the bodies of two newborns hidden in his storage cabinet. The scene was neat, almost too neat, and yet the truth was buried in silence, blankets, and plastic. Who were these babies? Who could commit such a quiet but brutal act? And why did no one know they even existed? On the morning of July 23rd, at 11 a.m., Mr. Jin, a 40-year-old man living in the village of Samarkand, was putting his things in the fridge in the storage room of his apartment when he stumbled upon a body badly wrapped up in a blanket. He was totally freaked out and immediately called the police. They rushed to the scene, and everyone was in a panic because the inside of the house was neat and tidy, which was really different from the crime scene they were used to. After that, Mr. Jin led the police into his storage room and pointed to a cabinet above where the police opened the door. Be careful with that water pipe, and it really is just like what Mr. Jin described to the police. Both of them were found wrapped in a dirty blanket and a black plastic bag, and they were completely suffocated. The scene was so disturbing that everyone felt a heavy sadness, wondering who could have the heart to do something so horrific to lives that didn't deserve this. It raises the question of why the parents of the victims didn't protect their kids. During the investigation of the scene and the checks by the forensic department, it was found that the two victims had lost their lives shortly after being born, suggesting they were alive right after birth but were forced into this situation. They never had a chance to even open their eyes to the world. The police also noticed something strange about one of the corpses. It still had a belly band, like one of the materials stored in the house. This led to the conclusion that the babies were born in this townhouse. If they had been born in a hospital, a professional doctor would have handled their delivery and their bodies would look different. This added to the suspicion that the person responsible was likely the mother. The police turned their attention to Veronique, a 39-year-old woman who could have given birth recently. However, they also considered that the babies might not be hers. Veronique had surgery on her leg 3 years ago and has been largely out of the picture since then. So the question remained, if she wasn't the mother, who was? The focus shifted to individuals who had access to the house, especially a friend of Jin and his French girlfriend who were known to stay at the villa. DNA testing ruled out these visitors and most others. Everyone was cleared, except Jean, Veronique's husband. He was a French national working for a foreign company stationed in South Korea. At the time, Jean's wife and son were already in France, having gone there for the summer holidays. Jean was alone in Korea, and suspicions started pointing squarely at him. The police found it strange that Jean had left Korea right before the DNA results came back. On July 28th, DNA testing confirmed that Jean was the biological father of both babies. That was a massive breakthrough. But now, Jean had already flown back to France on July 26th. He denied everything and claimed that Korean police mishandled the case. The French police also refused to cooperate with Korean authorities, making it even harder to proceed. Meanwhile, the biggest mystery remained. Where was the mother? A break came when a detective's wife raised a crucial point. She was an investigator herself and asked her husband if the forensic timing might be off. They went back to re-examine the evidence, especially the conditions of the blankets, dirt on the bodies, and packaging materials. One plastic bag found at the scene had a label, but that company had shut down 3 years earlier. The freshness of the mud on the bodies compared to the old mud at the house added another layer of doubt. They concluded the babies were likely killed 3 years ago, not recently. But DNA from the mother was still missing. That's when the detective's wife remembered that hospitals often store tissue samples from surgeries. They raced to the hospital where Veronique had her leg surgery 3 years ago. Incredibly, the doctor still had her samples. They extracted DNA from those and matched them with the victims. The results showed she was the mother. Now both biological parents were identified, Veronique and Jean. With this new evidence, the Korean police asked French authorities to arrest them both. On October 10, 2006, both were arrested in France. Veronique still denied everything, but the mountain of evidence left little room for doubt. Eventually, she confessed. She was solely responsible for the deaths. Jean knew nothing about the pregnancies or the murders. According to Veronique, she gave birth to the first baby in August 2002 and smothered him shortly afterward. A year later, she became pregnant again and repeated the act. She claimed she was in denial about being pregnant both times and never told anyone, not even her husband. Her body didn't show the usual signs, and she was constantly traveling. No one around her, not even her friends or housekeepers, noticed anything unusual. The French court sentenced her to prison. After serving 4 years, she was released due to signs of mental improvement. Psychological evaluations revealed that she suffered from a rare condition known as pregnancy denial. She genuinely believed she could not be pregnant and treated both children as an illness to be removed. This heartbreaking case reminds us that even in the safest homes, secrets can lie hidden for years. What drove a mother to such a dark path? How many more stories like this remain buried in silence? If this story touched you, please don't forget to like, share, and comment your thoughts below. And if you want more emotional and intense real crime stories, subscribe to the X Story by P and turn on the notification bell. Thank you for listening.